Well, it's almost time. We've got one game to go before we close out Playday 1. Dev, it is going to be our final matchup. QConfirm taking on IG. And both storylines coming into this, I feel like we have to be leaning into IG and what they've been able to accomplish in the last couple of months.
Well, that's it. I mean, I could say the same for both of these teams. QC had an insane start to Stage 2, but couldn't get further after it came to the playoffs. Not the same for Invictus. They made it to those playoffs, took down their arch rivals of Elevate, went all the way to Mexico for the major, where they even had a pretty solid showing. Unfortunately, they didn't make it to the playoffs, but they gave it a really good crack in the group stage, and I think that has redeemed a lot of our confidence in this roster.
Raven?
Yeah, look, I have to agree. I think it's hard not to have some renewed faith in the roster. They had such a great playoff run in Stage 2. It's nothing that can be understated. On Playday 7, they were up against it. They were facing bottom spot or make playoffs. They made the playoffs, they ran through, they made the major against all odds, and like Dev said, they showed up. So I think it's fair to have some faith in them, in particular off the back of the Stage 2 that Speakeasy had. Oh my lord, like I'm so sure he's probably going to be able to bring it again this stage.
They've certainly come up clutch in the last couple of months, but it really was the start of the year where we were asking the biggest questions. Good to see that these stories have kind of flipped on their heads. Now looking at QConfirm, I guess the conversation around this roster will certainly come, I guess it could have come as a surprise for those who weren't watching Stage 2, but they had a blinder of an opening 4 days, Dev, and it very quickly fizzled out.
Yeah, quite disappointing, all things considered. Stage 2 looked to be just crazy for them. 7-1 Chiefs in their opening game, took down the now Direwolves roster, took down even the Knights who were up to that point. They thought that they had basically punched their ticket to #1 after taking down Elevate and Invictus. But QConfirm, when they faced Invictus in their game in APAC South, it was their first significant loss, and what a loss it was. 7-1. Yep. On Cafe. Definitely a game to remember. Speakeasy absolutely showed up. And now this leaves QConfirm in a kind of curious position where we know what they're capable of, but we just haven't seen them being able to retain any form of consistency. Now they've had a bit of a shuffling roster. Dark, Raldini, of course, you might have seen a new name there, Spacehead. That is just healthcare. He has rebranded, changed his in-game name. But what we do know for sure is that as a roster, these guys just can't find the consistency that they need to be able to really take it to the next level.
Well, I guess Stage 3 might be the opportunity for them. Let's go to the vetoes, and Raven, you can dissect it first and foremost. We can have a look at the overarching conversation. We head to Oregon with Coastline and Clubhouse banned out last. Thoughts?
Look, Oregon, certainly a comfort map for a lot of teams at this point. In particular, seeing a lot of play here on the side of QConfirm. So I feel like there's in a way could lean into that. You know, maybe they are going to be favored coming into Oregon, but the way IG has been playing, certainly no slouch at all. In fact, they actually beat TSM 7-5 on Oregon in the Mexico Major. So that's certainly not a result you want to look past at all. Well, I think it's an exciting map. Generally, the Southeast Asian teams are quite strong on Oregon in general, at least when they've matched up against the OS teams. So I think we're going to be in for a really good contest.
Dev, let's hear the stats.
Oh, funnily, QConfirm last 3 times they played Oregon, it was against Elevate every single time, and they lost it every single time. 3 in a row against Elevate. They even lost it against a local team in the Thailand league that they play as well, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, we haven't seen a lot of good stuff in recent history from QConfirm on this map. It's their second most banned map overall. Invictus, though, do have some better results. As you said, the TSM win, despite TSM playing with their sub or their coach subbing in. I think that's still a pretty solid win. I mean, if you've got 4 out of 5 of one of the best teams in North America and you're beating them, good on you. Good on you, IG. And I think that most of us are probably looking at IG, the form that they've had at the major, and expecting them to take a convincing win here. QConfirm definitely need to step up and show that that flash in the pan that we saw at the start of Stage 2 is something that they can bring back and make it their reputation.
All right, final predictions before we get into it, just quickly, because we are almost ready, Raven.
Look, hard to look past IG, especially because, you know, QConfirm, inconsistent. They had a great stage for the most part last stage, and then it just fell off a cliff. So, yeah, IG it is.
Dev Marta?
You said hard to look past Invictus. I say hard to look past Speak Easy, or as he's renamed himself, Speak Easy Peasy. I reckon 7-2 for IG.
Might be easy peasy, and with the 7-2 prediction there, Dev, I'm sure it's going to be. Let's go ahead and throw it over to two of the most incredible casters in the world. It is, of course, oh my god, I've already forgotten their name. Xenox and Guz, I guess.
Thank you, Devin Raven, for that. It is, of course, my pleasure to bring you what it is.
That wasn't bad for you. That wasn't bad. That was pretty good.
All right, thank you, guys. A big game coming up, of course, though. QConfirm Invictus Gaming. Bit of history, of course, between these two teams, and not even necessarily between them. But Stage 1, guys, both teams missed out on the top 4. Then, of course, Stage 2, they both made top 4, and Invictus went all the way and even made the major. Now it's about, I guess, replication. It's about redoing what they were able to do in Stage 2, ward off some of these other teams looking to get into the top 4 and reclaim their place.
Yeah, I'm finding it difficult to gauge my expectations heading into this matchup. Will QConfirm find some of that form that they showed at their very best in Stage 2? Can Invictus improve upon even further what they started to build in Stage 2? I think it is shaping up to be a pretty interesting matchup. This could go one of two ways, I think. Invictus either going to storm away with this, it's going to be an easy win, or QConfirm will find, again, that really good form that they did show in Flickers over towards Stage 2 and make this a really tight contest.
So you don't think that QConfirm can run away with this game at all? You're not sensing a 7-2, 7-3?
Nope.
It's either Invictus in an absolute stomp or QConfirm in a close one?
Yep.
Okay, well, guys have sort of set the tone nice and
Don't
early.
clip it,
Invictus
chat.
will be on the defense. QConfirm, I'm sure, will be running away with it here after he has said that one. Flores has been banned out, no surprise. I feel like Oregon is one of his best maps, and he will be taken off the board. Thatcher too, again. No real surprises with either of those two bans.
Yeah, heavy emphasis rather on clearing utility, obviously on this map, so not too unexpected. Valk, a lot of cheeky positions that can be placed, where those black eye cameras can be placed outside of the building and as well as inside the premise as well, so getting rid of that is a frustration dealt with. Wamai also being cleaned up here, or taken off the board by Invictus. So again, heavy emphasis on utility clearance, and as we have seen throughout tonight, whichever team tends to be a little bit more efficient in that department, if they want to commit to that route, seems to really be winning out these games.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it as well, it's not just the efficiency in doing it, but also in the timely manner as well. It goes hand in hand. So QConfirm on the attack first. We'll see how they sort of dictate the tempo. That's probably what we've been able to see tonight from the teams that have been able to win. They've set the tone. They're the ones making things happen, and they are, of course, then benefiting from that one. Spacehead, I still can't get over that name change, guys. Look, I don't mind it. It's kind of cool, but I still can't get over it. As for Invictus, though, of course, fresh off of their major performance over in Mexico, are you expecting big things from them to back that up?
Ooh. I can't help but feel there is still a shadow being cast on Invictus purely because this year as a whole hasn't been incredible, and I'm sure many of their critics will say they kind of just scraped their way into the August major. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that sentiment too much. They've put in a lot of hard work in those last couple of play days as well as the bracket itself to take down teams in APAC to earn that position. They did really well in that regard, and they clutched up when it really mattered. They performed well under pressure, and they did well in the best of 3 format. So in terms of Stage 3, their expectations, I know that they themselves, they'll be gunning for that #1 position. That's where they probably believe they should be at. And rightly so. This is a team with a lot of experience, a lot of pedigree, and a lot of expectation on their shoulders historically. That they've been around this scene for so long, and they'll be wanting to try and claim that top position. Is it realistic? I don't know. Anything's possible here in APAC South, so I don't think we can really cast too many doubts on their ability to do well in this stage.
It is imperative that they do get off to a good start, though, of course. Order, Chiefs, Knights, there are 3 winners from tonight. 2 of those teams were not in the top 4 from Stage 2, so I'm very much already expecting by the end of the stage, whichever the teams may be, there should be somewhat of a shuffle of the top 4 teams from Stage 2 to Stage 3. QConfirm Invictus, of course, both teams that were in the playoffs or for Stage 2, they'll be looking to repeat that. Anyone, of course, can win this one, though. Invictus on the defense first, QConfirm. See how they're going to want to approach this one. Pretty slow start so far, nothing too crazy. It is Oregon, though. We are expecting to see that more structured approach from both teams.
Yeah, basement attack, and with Thatcher and Flores taken off the board, blue takes in towards bunker, probably not going to be as popular. We're likely going to see more rotations over towards front, heading into laundry, where Jordan manages to trick that hatch, so well played by him, and possibly in through freezer as well. In through freezer, that is a bit of a tongue twister, but either way, I doubt we'll see much blue play. We're not really here from QConfirm, who have ascertained control up above, but it is going to take them a little bit more time to open up these hatches and begin applying pressure in towards site.
Words are hard, guys. I mean, look, it happens to the best.
It's kind of in the job description, I say.
Opening up this meeting hatch, still a minute and 15 seconds remaining. QConfirm will look to get a bit of control of backstairs as well eventually. Dark, seeing what he can find over towards freezer. Of course, time is of the essence, but as is really, I guess, with any site on Oregon, you are going to expect these late pushes. Dark does find the kill onto Joe, which will open things up for QConfirm to get that opening pick. It also means they maintain this freezing control while opening up meeting hatch, while potentially even able to send someone through backstairs eventually, saw that drone through laundry too. So really, avenues have been opened up here for QConfirm. Luna with a big pick, drop down now for Spacehead. The picks though flying in favor of QConfirm through like Colas with the kill onto Luna. They've taken control of many different areas, pushing in onto site. They have just completely strangled the defense of Invictus. What a way to open up this site, Gus. They came in from almost every which way.
Really nice pinch there by the attack. Great job to establish control there inside of freezer. We saw the pinch come through over towards laundry as well. Invictus kind of bunched up a little bit in a clump there. The long corridor became really dangerous. We saw those flash grenades flying through as well there from the attack. Of course, in the most recent update, those are now really, really strong and are actually now effective in flashing your opponents, the original intention of the gadget, instead of just being used to clear utility. And Invictus, unfortunately, left to sort of gather some kind of momentum in that round. They just couldn't quite achieve that, and QConfirm did a good job in closing it out.
I think the big pick was Dark, getting that opening pick. It enabled them to open up freezer, get that drop down, and then have full freezer control. If he loses that, if Dark dies, I don't know if they get freezer control that easily, and then maybe things don't quite unravel the way that they did. So big pick from Dark, which there is, you know, some topical conversation around Dark. I think originally was part of the team, then got dropped from the team due to communication issues. I think that was the call.
Yep, I believe so.
And is now back in the team. So, I mean, maybe he's fixed those issues. I don't know.
Yeah. Not too sure. Maybe a question for the desk to ask, as I'm sure they are intently watching and listening
they don't know anything
to this game. Well, Rob doesn't know much, but
Rob
the other
doesn't,
two,
yeah.
they have a decent idea. They'll be the ones asking the main questions. So I have absolute full faith in their ability, and talk about faith and ability. You posed the question earlier, what are we expecting from Invictus? Should we back them heading into this stage? I don't know. Still a couple of question marks I think that need to be answered, and hopefully this first play day can start to ascertain whether or not, you know, they actually are in a position to back up their stage 2 performance, head to the major in November and try and accumulate some more SI points. In terms of actually SI here for Invictus as Historics falls, things not looking amazing. They're basically going to have to finish in the top 8 at the major to be a serious chance at making SI. So this is a really, really critical stage for Invictus, and I think that places even more emphasis on them finishing first and just securing that spot at the major.
Luna should get this kill. Never mind. Producer Boom producing the goods in that situation. I think the other thing we should also mention, I mean, QConfirm is a solid team. They've been very good in APAC South for quite some time. They had a bit of an up and down sort of stage 2 playoffs. You know, they beat Fav Gaming. Then they actually went 7-5 loss against M1. And we know what they went on to achieve, not only in the playoffs, but then also at the major. And they got sort of bundled by Fnatic 7-5, 7-5 in their best of 3. So since then, obviously, we haven't seen them. But I think QConfirm's a team you cannot take lightly. They're a team more than capable of beating Invictus, and getting off to a good start for stage 3, of course, is imperative for them and their chances of making the top 4. Good start here, of course, with the opening round, and now with the 5 versus 3 advantage here in the second. A minute and a half remaining.
Joe looking to try and hold up to Kitchen for as long as possible. A big pick there. onto the attacker as Producer Boom looks to take control of lobby. Joe, though, eventually traded back. Speak Easy once again left to try and clutch up. Can't even find the first.
Ooh,
good cleanup there from Dark, and QConfirm take the first 2 rounds.
Well, I guess it's not so easy peasy in the end for Speak Easy. Dark with a couple of kills, off to a good start here with his reintroduction into the team for QConfirm. 2-0 start on the attack as well. I think that's actually something that should be pointed at. Oregon has in the past been quite defender-sided, and QConfirm honestly off to a really good start with their attack. They're making it very difficult for Invictus to really just do about anything. All right, it's just QConfirm are just swarming all over them, and we're going to be heading back down to the basement.
Yeah, it's up to Invictus now to try and work out what exactly is going wrong here in the mid-round. We might see a change up in philosophy from them this time down below. We might see them actually extend and really double down on their efforts to prevent QConfirm from taking map control, or we could see them try and tidy up their actual on-site control. I know last time you mentioned Dark getting that opening pick in Laundry was quite significant, and it really was. It was an angle that you really shouldn't have gotten a kill from, and it allowed the attack, when you have that man advantage, to get a little bit more aggressive and back yourself in towards trading those picks out. So keen to see what Invictus adopt based on their setup. It looks like they're just going to play down below, and like I mentioned earlier, blue probably not really going to be much of a point of interest for the attack, with both that Thatcher and the Flores taken off the board. Sure, with Wamai taken off the board, it might be a little bit more feasible, but I still think that that front push from QConfirm is probably what we'll see, and it's likely to reap the most rewards.
I think the biggest thing for Invictus is maybe just playing up a little bit more and being a bit more aggressive, not allowing QConfirm to just get into their positions earlier, establishing that meeting hatch control easier. I mean, I think just putting pressure on. You don't even need to find a kill, guys. That's not even the entire intention, but to just maybe slow things down, force QConfirm into that time management game. Invictus, I think, maybe just too turtle heavy that first go around on basement. This time, can they be a little bit more aggressive?
Ooh. Hajime, peeking down towards the top of the freezer stairs. Now, there was a defender looking to contest that. It was Joe, but he'll fall back in towards freezer and play a little bit safer. Luna establishing one of his 2 mirror windows, facing in towards that position, the second facing Laundry. So the setup here from Invictus is in anticipation of a very similar approach here from the attack. The question will be, though, if QConfirm don't get that cheap and easy first kill, how are they going to deal with the pressure of having to trade out that execute?
Well, I think that as well here for QConfirm, if they play this well, and generally teams on Oregon, the best ones will be able to adapt, right? If Freezer suddenly looks like where Invictus are putting all their eggs in the basket, maybe you rotate over to blue, you try and get pillar control, you can't try and take backstairs. Obviously, you've also still got Laundry. It just depends on how Invictus are going to play this, but you can see the emphasis. Joe inside of Freezer, that mirror window as well. Still a minute and a half. So there's still a lot of time if QConfirm do want to adapt. They still haven't got this meeting hatch opened either. But credit to Invictus that that positioning from Joe is at least making things a little bit more hairy for QConfirm.
2 reinforcements still in the pocket here for Invictus, and they left security soft. Maybe an oversight there if they leave that reinforce. You also have the Kaid to back that up, force the Maverick to open it up, waste more time. Doesn't allow Producer Boom to play elsewhere with those grenades. So again, a potential oversight there from Invictus. They do need to pocket one to reinforce off blue, so that's understandable, of course. All that said and done, though, control slowly trying to be obtained here by the attack. Grenades fly out, forcing players off that box boost position. Dark looking to get control, but he's the one to fall on this occasion. That's a key turning point for Invictus.
Yeah, it definitely feels like QConfirm not adapting to this, though. They're just almost trying to brute force their way. Hajime's going to swing from Laundry, but I think it's almost too little too late. 30 seconds left. They're still just trying to brute force their way through Freezer. There's that drop down. I mean, they've completely played into the hands of Invictus. Jordan should be able to get a kill here as well, and does, flawless in the end. And I mean, Invictus played that well, guys, right? They read the Freezer play nice and early. We saw the mirror placement. Joe was playing from that position. That then means the emphasis falls on QConfirm to adapt, and they didn't.
Yeah, and I mentioned the lack of reinforcement there on the security hatch and the fact that Invictus had 2 pocketed. At the very end of that round, they actually had none. So I can only assume that they're fully reinforcing off blue at the very end of the round. I mean, we couldn't quite tell from the POV, I don't think. But just something interesting to note that Invictus are, you know, willing to play that kind of play style late into the round and quickly adjust their setup as required. But the real turning point, the big turning point, it was that opening kill. I mean, Oregon is a map that lends itself so heavily into that opening pick being really, really critical. And it only gains more significance the deeper into the round that it occurs, particularly if you're on the defensive side. If you can deny that pick when the attack is ready, sitting and waiting and just about to go bang on that execute, it really can cause issues. And we saw that come into play. QConfirm didn't quite have the ability to adapt there on the fly, and it did cost them.
And it does get Invictus on the board here for stage 3. We head upstairs to kids' dorms, which is always that sort of 50-50 foray here on Oregon. See how Invictus are going to set up, but I mean, that particular, like, if you actually look at the last 2 basements rounds, the first one was about QConfirm and the way they played it. Invictus just couldn't really do anything to stop them. Then the second time around was the complete opposite. The way that Invictus played made it difficult for QConfirm to do what they wanted to do. And it goes back to that dictating the tempo and dictating the particular round, match, or game. And that's exactly what we've seen so far here once again on Oregon. And Invictus, if they can catch on to that and understand, right, we play how we want to play, make it difficult for QConfirm to attack the way they want to attack, and then we should be able to control their attacks nicely here. 4th round, 2-1 start for QConfirm, but Invictus just getting warmed up.
Hajime looking to enter in small tower and will do so. Can establish control in Xiao's corridor or dining and maybe prevent anyone on the defense from playing down below. It is Hysteric's tasked with that at the moment. Peeking his head out of that security corridor. Unable to really find much at the moment, and Spacehead could begin to apply some pressure on this position if he so desires, but that won't be the case. Invictus, in fact, investing 2 players down below to try and hold control, and QConfirm are looking to maybe try and clear that out.
So just spotting that drone. Invictus just getting on the forefront a little bit better now compared to the opening 2 rounds. Cola's just going to open up this attic position from Big Tower. 1.5 minutes remaining. No pressure at all from Invictus over towards Big Tower. In fact, they are playing very much on site here, whether they're on site or vertically down below.
Just trying to work out what's the game plan here for QConfirm. No real pressure being applied directly onto the site so far. These players down below as well, sitting quite comfortably. Joe and Hysterics really just chilling out. Now, that's a great drone from Hajime that will spot these players out. And alongside Dark, they should be able to apply pressure, but there's only a minute left.
Hajime knows there's a player inside a kitchen here, but as you mentioned, the time, it's definitely on the side of Invictus right now. QConfirm really need to get going. They need to clear out Hysteric's position if they want to come through big window at the last second. The push from Dark, though, a little careless and careless, and he gets taken down. First pick for Invictus. Hysterics does eventually go away from that security position. Does open up maybe big window late into the round. Hajime with a nice swing. Makes it a 4 versus 4. Big kill as well from Spacehead. And suddenly QConfirm finding these kills everywhere. Joe just catching the barrel of that gun. Will now catch the head as well onto Hajime. He can push up white stairs and maybe rectify things here for Invictus. Unless it's too late. Lycolis will go in from big window. Get this play down.
C4. Joe? Oh, he hits it! That's massive from down below from Joe. Doesn't quite get the kill, but Spacehead and Producer Boom need to try and recollect and get that stuck.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
He's just going to have to go through that. Soyuke, 5 seconds left. Lycolis is low. He's just going to have to stick it now. Spacehead, nice double kill for the round. Joe needs to stop it, but he cannot. QConfirm. Confirm the round. A back and forth kind of round, and it feels like that was one where you just take a breath if you QConfirm, guys. There were moments they could have lost it, but they hold on.
Yeah, slow build up there for QConfirm, but the ultimate goal for them was to go for that white stairs double window plant. It was so nearly faulted there by Joe. A fantastic nitro cell, placed it perfectly, got the down. Unfortunately for him, not enough to win out the round. It was recollected, and he couldn't retake up white. It was just way too difficult, too many angles holding that position, and QConfirm do take the round. Messy, not the cleanest attack ever seen up above here on Oregon, but it got the job done. And so far, QConfirm are just playing solid Siege. They're not having to do anything too crazy. They're finding good advantages where they can, and they're playing off said advantages. Invictus, the mid-round for them, they're giving away these free picks, they're not trading them back, and just being at a man disadvantage, even just one player, particularly on Oregon, where you're often tasked with holding so many entry points, and they really chain together really nicely for executes, makes life really, really challenging.
10 seconds.
3-1 start for QConfirm is exactly the position that they would have wanted to find themselves in, especially on the attack here on Oregon. This could be a disaster start to stage 3 for Invictus if they can't claw this one back. I'm just honestly having a quick look back at stage 1 and stage 2, trying to see the results between these two teams. The last time they met, guys, it was a 7-1 victory to Invictus Gaming. That was in stage 2. And if we go all the way back to stage 1, we have to go back a long, long way for this one. It is one I can't find off the top of my head. It was actually QConfirm that won it. There you go. I was looking for the curse. I almost for a second thought we had another curse, but no, there wasn't. Still, QConfirm looking the goods here. 2 rounds to go in this first half.
Oh, dark. Upside down rappel there facing in towards Trophy. Almost finds a pick, and it would have been, again, another free opening pick for QConfirm, but fortunately for Invictus and the player finding himself in that position, rather, he was able to stay alive. Jordan actually on this occasion to find the first. That's the Ash taken off the board. Jordan running the shotgun, funnily enough, so that's pretty memey from him, but it does pay off. I believe it got a damage boost not too long ago as well, so using that well. Producer Boom, though, establishing control into his big tower. We'll actually find Jordan, catch him off guard. The shotgun will actually be his demise, creating rotates, caught off guard. Luna doesn't quite find the trade. He gets taken down. The reverse wallbang there from Producer Boom to give his team the advantage.
Yeah, when he started, Producer Boom was able to finish on his end. 4 versus 3. Advantage now for QConfirm with 1.5 minutes remaining in the round. If they can go on and capitalize here, a 4-1 start on Oregon on the attack as well, mind you. It is looking quite tantalizing for their chances and the prospects of getting all 3 points. Speak Easy Peasy has had a pretty hard time of things. Almost made an absolute mess of it there, but he had a bit of help from Joe. He was able to get that kill onto Lycolis, and suddenly how quick things can change. Invictus with the man advantage.
Bit of a peculiar entry there from QConfirm. Caught off guard there. Could prove costly. Producer enters up above inside of Attic, looking to go for a play this space head. Now Hysterics is up above as well. Inside of Pit, could swing wide, find the kill, leaving it in the 1v3, but Producer Boom seems aware, trying to bait, maybe with the sound of that barbed wire. Hysterics, though, with an impact, will distract, will find the kill, and Spacehead in sight needs to go absolutely huge.
He can't. Speak Easy Peasy with a big round win in the end there for Invictus Gaming. Yeah, I think that barbed wire, obviously the undoing, and that's always going to make that Attic push basically impossible if Hysterics plays that even somewhat competently. 3-2, though. A bit of a reprieve for Invictus, because it looked like for a brief moment when it was 4-3, Guz, that QConfirm might just establish a 4-1 lead, and what the ramifications could be off that. Not to know, as it is 3-2, and Invictus looking to maybe close the half 3-3.
Back down towards Laundry, and there's been a key shift here from the defensive selection. The 6 pick from Luna is quite huge. Jumps off the mirror onto the mute. That will combo with Hysterics on the Mozzie, and that would suggest that we're going to see a roam here from Invictus, likely play up above and try to deny map control. It could also be that they're not actually going to station themselves above and instead just try and waste more time from QConfirm and force them to be a little bit more thorough with their drones. These rotations, though, from Jordan would suggest that we actually are going to see players from Invictus be a little bit more fluid here. This is a good test for QConfirm. They have looked quite comfortable on these attacks. Sure, they only won one of them, but for the most part, they've gained map control quite freely, and they've been pretty satisfied. And it has come down to that really hard-fought, bloody, like 5v5 execute style that we often see on Basement. But this time, with this roam, it's going to be quite different, and QConfirm's ability to get those drones established, locate these players, take them down, shut them down, and prevent trades is going to be really put to the test.
A 4-2 half for QConfirm would be, well, an amazing half. For Invictus to at least get it back to 3-3 off the back of their slow start, I think they would take that. Nonetheless, though, opportunity has presented itself for QConfirm to establish the lead going into their defensive half, and Invictus need to deny that from happening. Hysterics. Oh, what a shot as well from Spacehead. The game sense there, impeccable. QConfirm with the men advantage.
Hysterics just getting a little bit too greedy. Had he have immediately run away, maybe I'll have survived to live another day, but that won't be the case. QConfirm with the man advantage, and if Invictus... Oh. Whoa, okay. Speakeasy runs out the main door, finds that pick onto like Colas, one hard breach down, putting a lot of pressure now onto Producer Boom. Hajime looking for the trade.
Well, talk about an easy kill there. Like Colas just didn't even see that one coming at all. Invictus can play off of that now. Minute 50 left in the round. Speakeasy knows, of course, where the diffuser is too. So if he can play around from that sort of armory or classroom position down below, it can be an absolute nuisance as he looks to gain control of that lobby area. Minute and a half. Although, I think Invictus might just say, you know what, job done. Let's just go back to site.
Joe's still on the roam over towards Big Tower, so QConfirm will need to be mindful of that. Spacehead, meanwhile, will go and collect the diffuser. If they go for a back push, QConfirm that is, Joe could well be the thorn in their side. Meeting hatch open, Dark looking to progress down the stairs, and that may well be the case. Joe can sit so patiently up above and wait for that perfect moment to flank late. He just needs to rely on the rest of Invictus to hold down the fort, waste as much time as possible, and force a really late round execute.
Looks like it's going to be a blue push and backstairs for QConfirm this time around here on basement. Final round of the half. Dark looking to get control of Pillar. Got the ping, and what is Luna doing? Just walking around in the hallway. Gets caught big time. Jordan's found two. Joe found two as well. And that is also going to be 3 in the half for Invictus. It's 3-3 in this first half.
There's Joe. There's the flank. Bang. Easy as that. Really well played there from Invictus. The change up to go for the roam did, in fact, throw QConfirm off. In doing so, as you mentioned, evening out the half. The start was not great for Invictus. QConfirm looked comfortable, but Invictus threw enough at their opponents to really dislodge any momentum that they sort of began to gather, and neutralizing that first half, really, really good effort. Keen to see whether or not Invictus will be stronger, maybe even here on the attack. I was honestly surprised at how attacker-sided that first half really did play out at the beginning there for QConfirm, so maybe Invictus can capitalize upon that even more.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised as well, taken aback slightly, but this is, of course, APAC South Guards. It's always difficult to predict how things are going to play out at any given time. Of course, Oregon is a map we did see quite a lot in Stage 2, and for the most part, 63% roughly off of those 5 matches played. Not the most major statistic, but you do lean into it slightly, and it's not really that crazy of a stat either. You would expect that. Generally, we see most commonly a scoreline of, say, 4-2 to the defender. So even 3-3 here for QConfirm, you say, all right, that's pretty good. But as you said, realistically now Invictus go over to the attack, and they may very well be able to continue and have a good attack themselves. So it's really hard to ascertain as to which one is going to play out. Nonetheless, QConfirm on the defense, Invictus on the attack. We'll see how it does all play out. So far, the standouts for me, though, Joe for Invictus having a big game, 7-3, and then, I mean, no surprises here. Spacehead, of course, formerly known as Healthcare, 7-3. He is the backbone of this team.
Yeah, I was going to take a bit of a stock take on how everyone's sort of shaping up at the moment, and Joe, definitely a name to mention. He is the newest member of the roster. When Yazira departed the team, he sort of stepped up fulfilling that role, and yeah, he's been putting in rock solid performances. He hasn't necessarily been the loudest player in the server. When I talk about loud, you know, someone producing a massive amount of highlight clips like Speakeasy, for example, but he does his job, posts decent numbers, and doing a really good job. Talk about Speakeasy though, going for flashy plays. There we go, a free opening pick there onto Spacehead, the top fragger for QConfirm, dealt with early, and like we often see on basement, one-man advantages like this, with a lot of time to work with, can prove to be so powerful for the attack.
It's always fun when you see 2-star players like that, Speakeasy and Spacehead, sort of collide, and I mean, Speakeasy made it actually look pretty easy in the end. Spacehead just getting a little bit caught off guard. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the first round of this second half. Invictus, though, on the attack nice and early with a lot of their movement. They got Luna on the Nomad as well for some of that flank watch, and they are Just going to try and establish a bit of a freezer control for the moment, but may not necessarily be their final push. Like Colas, though, with a big pickup onto Jordan. And that's going to be the Maverick taken off the board, Gus.
Yeah, good aggression to trade back there and a hard breach dealt with. Joe now with 14x Kairos left will be tasked with opening up the remaining hatches. No Kaid brought, so he'll be able to do so quite freely. And not the worst result here for Victus. It does mean that a couple of nades go begging, and that might mean that clearing some of the utility here from the defense might be tricky, such as any potential deployable shields. Hajime has placed one down, but that's likely in blue. May not be contested here as Invictus start to shape up for their attack, trying to get a read on what may well be the play. They are droning out blue currently. They see that it's clear. Maybe that will be where they're trying to head this attack from, reinforced off, of course, by the defense.
50 seconds remaining. This is, of course, though, where not having Jordan makes things a little bit more tricky. That elbow, of course, walled off completely. Drop down is going to be imperative, and really it's mostly just about now getting into a position, getting control of Pillar, making sure that when that meeting hatch does eventually drop down, you are going to be in a position where you're covered by your teammates. 30 seconds left. The drop down has been successful. Colas, though, wants to push into that Pillar's position, but he is completely blinded.
Attackers have located
Flashbangs
a
are just so good at the moment. If Invictus can dump them properly, they might be able to convert some control. Here we go.
Yep, that's 3 versus 4 now. It's Speak Easy getting the advantage now for Invictus. Can they overwhelm QC on site? It's seemingly playing out that way. 3 for the round now for Speak Easy. Luna's down, so is Hysterics. Dark coming in from Freezer. May just change things here. Joe, though, got the plant, and Speak Easy was watching perfectly. That's an ace as well. All 5 kills. It is that easy peasy.
Speak Easy, another day in the server, and another big game so far. By far and away, one of the best players in APAC. He has just been posting insane numbers. Even in stage 1, when Invictus were really struggling, he was still always showing up in the server and always posting huge numbers, impactful numbers at that. Another great example of it there in the previous round. Gives Invictus the lead, and their ability to overwhelm site, really, really impressive. I think one thing that's been overlooked by a lot of teams tonight are the flashbangs. They are so good right now. They are ridiculously good. In fact, I would not be surprised if sooner or later they'll be tuned down. They are so, so strong. Yet we've seen it a little bit, but we haven't seen teams use and, I guess, abuse it to the extent that's probably possible at the moment. So I'm liking the fact that Invictus are just loading up on them.
Invictus got like, what, 9 flashes?
Oh yeah, 3 from Luna, 3 from Joe, 3 from Hysterics.
I mean, that is
it's a lot. I mean, if you use them properly, though, it's achievable. I mean, Jordan's got 2 nades. Speak Easy has 2 nades and gone 6, so you already have 5 projectiles to deal with stationary objects. Hysterics as well has the 2 lifeline impacts, so you have a lot to work with. I don't think they're compromising too much elsewhere. Of course, you can't bring Flores, he's banned out, and the Thatcher as well, so I'd say they're probably taking the right approach. We saw in that round a lot of white screens, and that means that these defenders have no idea what's going on. Yes, you can turn away from the flashbang, and it reduces the duration of the flash a little bit, but it's really not that significant. If you dump them properly in time, that execute like Invictus did on the last occasion, it's really difficult to counter.
You really need to avoid it completely, really.
Yeah, QConfirm have gone back downstairs, so I hope they have a better idea on how they're going to deal with that.
You would expect them to be able to improve on it. And it's not like they didn't have projectile denial either. You've got the ADSs, you've got the Sawyer gates there as well. To a degree, kind of fills that role, especially with the Wamai banned out. You've got everything you really can sort of have to achieve that. Speak Easy on the roam here, pushing and seeing if you can find player inside of security. It does just drop down now, so that's with 2 minutes on the clock, already established control. Spacehead gets out of there through Freezer, back over to site. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quick count, like Cole is the 5th. Over towards backstairs, but it is now going to be an on-site play here for QConfirm.
Some of that time has been drained away nicely by QConfirm on the defense. They can re-establish themselves down below and prepare for the hell that is about to rain down on them. Invictus, with half the round remaining, can slowly and precisely ensure that these hatches are opened and they can mount their attack. Still 7 drones available, and they can peruse the site at their leisure. Try and work out exactly where I want to push from. I'm anticipating another front push. Last time it worked perfectly. Take pillar control, establish some pressure over towards blue, just dump flashes into that long hallway, and I don't really see the win condition for QConfirm to be able to try and counter that unless they find some of these opening picks as they drop in, as they try and establish themselves before they execute.
I'll give you the win condition right now for QConfirm. It's called kill speak easy. God, I couldn't speak there at all. It wasn't that easy, but he is absolutely running amok right now. 9-3. Of course, Joe having a big game, as we sort of touched on. Hasn't actually done anything in this second half, but still 7-3. Shows the ability to sort of stay alive, open things up, do his job as that hard breach. 33 seconds left, though. This has been a much slower approach. Still, though, it's Joe with the opening pick onto Light Cola. So even though QConfirm have been able to make Invictus take that little bit of a slow backward step with this attack here in the 8th round, they're still finding picks. They've already got control of Pillar. They can go in for the plant soon. 15 seconds left. They're going to have to do it now.
Couple of picks in exchange though. QConfirm now with the man advantage, but Hysterics pushes down long. Produce, that's a huge kill. That is absolutely massive. Takes the round away there from Invictus, who set themselves up nicely. They hold on against all the odds, against all that pressure, and they manage to win out the round.
And they stop that little momentum streak that Invictus had built up. They had won the 3 rounds prior after QConfirm were originally up 3-1. Invictus then went up 3-4, but QConfirm do get the sort of break against the run of play here. Makes it 4-4, and for the first time tonight, guys, we've actually got a matchup that's relatively close. The other 3 were all very one-sided affairs. We'll see if this one can maybe go the distance. Potentially even a overtime could be on offer.
Do you know the reason why it's not a blowout? Do you know why it's close?
Why is that?
Because there isn't an OS team in the server to win.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Okay.
OS supremacy, baby.
I mean, you know an OS team did lose tonight, so...
Yeah, but...
I don't know where you're going with this one, but let's get back on track, guys, away from your shenanigans. It's okay. We all have our moments. QConfirm, though, of course, had their moment in the last round of Laundry and Supply. They win it out, and they now head upstairs to dorms.
Well, my feed is frozen at the moment, Jake, so...
Oh, that's all right. I
I'm
can kind of
just
explain what's going
chilling.
on. You can imagine it's mostly just standard setup phase, right? We're up dorms.
5 seconds.
You know, we got reinforcements going up. Players are getting into position. You know, it's the pretty standard procedure. I don't think you really missed too much.
No, I don't think I really did. I mean, Alibi is something to note. Producer boom, bring the Alibi into the server. That's actually an interesting aggressive rotate. Games wall has been open on the right-hand side over towards the west. That will allow the defense to actually play inside of Closet. Risky though. Wamai is banned, so you can't double up on the projectile denial. And with Invictus bringing so much on their end, with the flashbangs, with the grenades, actually holding inside of Closet will probably be really, really hard. It may aid them in denying the wall from getting opened as well, so we'll have to see how they actually play off this, but definitely a high-risk approach from QC.
It almost feels like this round has a little bit more importance than almost all the other ones prior. You get that 5-4 lead, you get a little bit of that momentum. It may even force a timeout to the other team that loses. This is a close one. And I know that we've sort of said it a lot of times on the broadcast so far tonight, guys, but every game is so important. The ability to get the 3 points, to beat your opponent when it's on offer, and especially in this sort of 4 versus 4, you don't want to let this one slip for either of these two teams.
Invictus looking to open up Attic and start applying pressure in towards that pit position. Joe is the secondary hard breach to that Maverick. Positions himself over towards a bedroom balcony. Now, I'm not sure whether or not Invictus have actually droned up that games wall setup. It could be something that throws them off. It's something that we very rarely see. I believe a couple of teams here and there have dabbled with it. Maybe in APAC North, if my memory serves me correctly, but it's definitely not common. We'll have to see whether or not Invictus are prepared. Speak Easy, always ready though on the entry. Finds the first there onto Dark. That's the Aruni dealt with, and it's a second on to Spacehead. Every single round you can back this man in like Colas and Producer Boom, just like that in the 2-on-5.
Yeah, and this is now pretty much round over. Kind of tried to hype up this round as much as I could, guys, but Invictus are going to
not
run
enough
away with
emotion. I want more emotion, Jake.
Well, look, I definitely can give you the emotion if QConfirm can maybe find a way back into this, but it's flawless. From start to finish in that round, Invictus have really turned it up a notch in the last couple of rounds, guys. I mean, they've won now 4 of the last 5 as they storm to a 5-4 lead.
Yeah, a bit tricky to know exactly what happened in that round as the 2 kills were off stream or off the obs cam, so we didn't know exactly how those opening kills were ascertained there by Speakeasy. But if it's much like his other opening picks here on Oregon, he's probably just crouched walked into the map and found these kills. He's just so good at it. And I believe I actually saw a tweet from Speakeasy heading into tonight, something about new res, like new aspect ratio or something, and a new sense. So somehow he's still backing up his performances from stage 2. Maybe he's even performing better here at the start of stage 3. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, time and time again, you can just back the man in to put your team in such a great position. And it's got to feel great. If you're Luna, if you're Joe or Jordan, maybe just, you know, playing a bit more of that anchor role or that support role, flank watch, etc. And you just have someone on your team that can consistently give your team an advantage. It just must feel amazing. So much pressure alleviated, and the win condition really changes. Like, it changes from, you know, let's find the opening kill. Oh, we've already done that. Let's just hold on. Let's just convert the round. We've got plenty of time left. Just gives them a lot more freedom.
10 seconds to insertion.
For just the second time tonight here on Oregon, we head over to Kitchen Meeting. Invictus were able to win this out defensively in the first half. QConfirm now tasked to do the same. Now, I feel like it's imperative for QConfirm to win out here as well, because the 6-4 lead, that's match point for Invictus. Two match points to be exact as well. And also 1 point then already secured. So sort of just setting up the stakes here for this 10th round. QConfirm need to win it.
Speakeasy and Hysterics probably the 2 to watch here in the early stages of this round. Speakeasy in particular has been very impactful, finding these opening kills. Already looking to use a grenade early here, takes down the lobby default. Looking to apply some pressure, Hysterics pinching from the opposite side of the objective. First nade flies out, not quite sure what that achieved in clearing. Maybe a Banshee, potentially at that door, either way. A lot of pressure being applied here from the north. Big tower being contested. Luna can use those air jabs to prevent rotations, and particularly late round flanks here if QConfirm wanted to rotate someone down below or retake kitchen hallway. Now that's not really a viable option, and again, that applies more and more pressure on the defense's ability to deny the attack from getting in towards the objective, and then second to that, denying that plant from going down.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Completely large presence here from Invictus, as you said, over towards Big Tower. QConfirm haven't really, I think, adjusted to this just yet. Whether that's to be because they don't have a whole lot of the information, but you can see so many of them still playing over towards that sort of south and western position. There's 2 players over towards pit at the moment for QConfirm, can at least sort of play off of this a little bit. Try and just hold a little bit more of that vertical control. Minute 10 seconds remaining, but QConfirm, to their credit, aren't just throwing bodies at this, guys. They're holding on, and it means that Invictus are going to have to still be the team that makes something happen. You can't just walk in, stick that plant down. You'll have someone cover, but all it takes is one swing from QConfirm, and the planter can get denied. Jordan's going to go for it now, causing it a bit of chaos. They're also trying to cause a bit of pressure into Addict so they can't get that look down into the hatch. And that diffuser does get planted in the end, apparently quite easily. Dark gets the kill into Joe. Hajime gets one back. Suddenly QConfirm, though, they go for the flanks, they go for the kills, and they are going to be successful. The retake has been perfect. Hysterics gets one, but he can't stop the next one. And QConfirm do win the round that they needed to do.
Come on, no dying on my way.
Bomb diffuser disabled.
Yeah, really well played there by QConfirm. As you mentioned, they didn't throw bodies. They were allowing that plant to go down. They could have gotten much more risky there. Let's deny the plant. Let's throw bodies. Let's see what we can pull off. But instead, they composed themselves. They waited for the structure of Invictus to be broken a little bit as they got that plant down, and then tried to quickly shuffle to their post-plant positions. And amidst all that, they were able to find kills. Invictus, cluttered comms, and positioning, unable to trade them back. So really well played. And honestly, I thought Invictus were in a great position. They did apply really good pressure on the hatch to allow the plant to go down. And it is an objective where it is quite difficult to retake. So you'd have to back them on most occasions to be able to convert that round, but just not really the case there. So really well played from QConfirm. A really, really critical round. They, most importantly, deny match point. So that's already opening up that window once again for them to get the full 3 points in regulation. And as we keep on hammering, every single damn point is so critical in APAC South.
Yep.
You know, it's easy to say that about every league in the world. You know, every point counts. It's a cliche. But 5 points separated first from last in Stage 2. No other region was that close. That's just how important they really are.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you could take every team at the bottom 4 and you flip just one result in their favor, and they're in the top 4. Like, it's just that simple, really, and it really goes to show, is this going to be that game where, had you flipped it the other way, we would have made top 4? You don't want to even put yourself in that position. Win as many as you can, as early as you can. That's the other thing as well, guys. I think we've noticed throughout this year, both Stage 1, 2, that the teams that get out to a good start generally hold on at the very least and are able to maintain that top 4 position. The ones that start slow, they don't typically come back.
Yep. In terms of defensive operators here, though, the mirror has been exchanged out for a Warden. I like that change from QConfirm. The mirror wasn't really yielding much for them, and we have seen Invictus play heavily into the flashbangs, once again bringing 9 to this round. Hysterics. Wow. Probing. But yeah, that Warden could prove to be really, really powerful late round. I love that adaptation. Last time Invictus attacked this site, their flashbang use wasn't great, but if they tidy that up and back themselves into that playstyle, they could be punished, particularly if the Warden isn't spotted. Keep in mind, he was 6-picked.
I suppose they're just temporarily wanting to maybe pick up. They could have tried to swing it together. Dark elects not to instead. He gives up that security position, drops down into Freezer and back onto site. Winner of this round, of course, will get match point and secure at least 1 point at minimum. Last time we saw Laundry Supply at QConfirm were able to defend successfully. First time around, though, Invictus did take it with a nice pinch attack. We've seen it happen a few times now. That Gemini is going to be destroyed. Minute and a half remaining here in the 11th round. This really could not be any closer.
The hatches again will be free real estate for Joe. No Kaid brought by the defense. Allows him to open those up quite freely. And again, the attack pattern from Invictus suggesting they'll once again go for rear stage control, in towards Pillar, apply some pressure over towards Blue as well late round, and try to go for that execute near that E-box door. So just like the other 2 attacks, very, very similar here. QConfirm should be able to read into that. And again, with that wild card of the Warden being available, if Producer Boom plays this well, you have to back the defense in.
Say that, but whenever Speakeasy's on a roster, you kind of still can back in the attack as well. You can push in, find a few kills, and really turn the tide. Hajime is just going to be forced away from Blue Bunker here. He'll reo up. Elbow's going to be sealed. 39 seconds left here. Luna now pushes in, takes control. Hysterix has got pillar control. They haven't cleared out Lycolis in Freezer, though. Oh, what an angle from Hysterix! Big shot, big kill for Invictus. 27 seconds left. Dark is down now as well. The defense is collapsing, guys.
This is the worst thing that could have happened for QConfirm. They need members up to support Producer Boom to facilitate that Warden. But in the 3 versus 5, it'll be tough.
Still trying to flush out this play. It's like Colas inside a Freezer. There's a big shot, big fight here for Joe. He wins it. He's going to get that kill. Producer Boom on site, though, got one back. It's 2 versus 4. Time is of the essence. Speak easy. Getting that plant down. Does he get denied at the last second? He does not. Joe and Luna cover perfectly. And Invictus Gaming now have got match point.
That was so close to that plant being denied. Millimeters. I think Spacehead, if he had have perfectly pre-fired that, could have denied the plant, and reclaiming the diffuser in time would have been really, really close. A tight round in the end, but well played by Invictus. A great opening pick from Hysterix, and once again applying good pressure in towards the site, holding those crosses. I wasn't a huge fan of Producer Boom playing the position he did behind the shield. It kind of limited his ability to actually be impactful in that round. I would have thought he'd play a bit more aggressively over towards long to try and counter those flashbangs, but either way, that wasn't the approach QC decided to go for. In doing so, they forfeit match point to their opponents. And Invictus, they will desperately want to close this match out in regulation. This has been a hard-fought game for them. Maybe even a little bit harder than they expected. But as we always say, this is APAC South. You cannot take anything for granted.
1 point, though, secured, right? And to sort of preface how important that is, 1 point was the difference between 4th and 5th and 6th. For stage 2, Invictus had 11 points, and just below them, Chiefs and Wildcard both on 10. So it really does sort of highlight how important that 1 point is, also how important getting all 3 points is. They need to capitalize here and see if they can get all 3. They will have that opportunity. For QConfirm, well, it's either overtime or bust. On the defense here on Oregon, they will repeat down below. The last time they repeated, it actually worked out well, so we'll see if it works out well for this time and maybe see if we go to our first OT.
QConfirm find themselves in a really difficult position heading into this round, deciding their objective. They've just lost basement. The only site that they've won outside of that is kitchen meeting, which is locked out. So they have to take a gamble. Do they go to dorms, which they lost, and in a convincing fashion? It was, I believe, flawless, if I'm remembering correctly. Actually, was it? I don't know. Either way,
Dorms was flawless.
Yeah, it was flawless. So they're in a real pickle. They are basically forced to go down below the same objective they just lost. Now, they're bringing a very similar lineup. They're relying, once again, on Producer Boom, probably to go big on the Warden. Putting a lot of eggs in one basket. If Invictus play quite similar in their structure, like they have been literally every single basement attack, and QConfirm don't do a better job in reading into that and actually trying to directly counter that exact same setup, Invictus probably find themselves in a better position. They're at the advantage.
Well, of course they're at the advantage. They're up 6-5. They got match point.
That's not what I meant, Jake.
I'm teasing. Under 2 minutes to go here. It is match point, though, and QConfirm are going to have to play their best this round if they are to force the OT. And I think if they can get that OT, they're still within a oh, he's perfectly placed this one, Spacehead, nicely timed. But if they can get the OT, guys, they are definitely still within a shot.
Yeah. And it's nice to see that QConfirm are actually finally bringing the Kaid, so we're seeing this juggled out, which is nice.
Missed that one.
Yeah, a little bit late there, unfortunately, so that's lobby open. Joe elsewhere able to open meeting. I think the juggle there will be a little bit too late if attempted, and is so that's opened up as well. Speak Easy probing, looking to maybe have a big impact in this round. 5 versus 5 though. Arguably both teams in a decent position. Invictus changing things up a little bit. Pressure applied over towards Laundry on this occasion. Jordan with the diffuser will straight up just drop the hatch. Finds the killer to Producer. That's huge.
Yeah, that is big. It's advantage once again for Invictus. Just under 1 minute remaining in the round. Spacehead saw a pixel, but he couldn't find the kill. And of course, formerly known as Healthcare, that's the player that QConfirm usually rely on to find some kills. They're going to need him to do it here in this match point round. And while Invictus did get that drop-down kill, they got things started. They have also sort of pulled the pin on the attack slightly, ever so slightly. Speak Easy, though, with a nice big nade onto Dark, gets the elimination. Lycolas gets one back, though, for QConfirm. Just keeps things ticking over, but they are very low on health. Lycolas, Spacehead, very, very low. And Invictus getting closer to getting this plant down. Hajime with a big kill onto Luna, but he's traded immediately by you guess who? It's Speak Easy, 14 and 5. Jordan can get that diffuser down. Oh, no. They shut down Spacehead. It's 3 for Speak Easy. It is that easy for Invictus. They will close out their opening match of APAC South. 7-5 over QConfirm. All 3 points secured.
A good start to stage 3 for Invictus. That's a big 3 points to bank. QConfirm did not make it easy for them. But at the end of the day, basement doesn't prove fruitful for QConfirm, and Invictus reading into the opponents really, really well. They changed it up. You know, they didn't have to change it up much, but that last round in particular, they did enough to throw off their opponents once again. They secure the win, and they did.
It was an attacking Oregon in the end, guys. This is why we don't really speculate too much on the whole attacker-defender side. And throw all that nonsense out the window and just let them play, because in the end it was some really good attacking siege in the end, especially on Oregon. I think we saw a lot of sites that maybe in stage 2 and even stage 1 to a degree, guys, that we usually saw defended quite vigorously. Attackers have found a way here.
Yeah, basement, it's getting to a point now where it's really been unlocked by the attack, and I'd love to see some more innovation from the defense. Invictus was one team that actually did innovate a little bit throughout this matchup and went for that roam, and it actually did work out in the end. Unfortunately for QConfirm, I think they got stuck in their ways a little bit. They failed to adapt when they were required to. Invictus punished them, and that is a sign of a more experienced and a better performing team. If they can show that adaptation in a best of one, it's going to serve them really, really well, and I'm sure Invictus will be quite pleased with that result.
That was our final game for the Knights. So, of course, we're going to throw it back over to our wonderful desk where we got two very highly intellectual analysts and some guy we found on the street.
Kind of makes sense. My hair's a bit rough at the moment. The beard, I'm growing it out. You could. There is a claim there, Xenox. I'll give that one to you. And you know, great job casting. I guess you did the game justice. Maybe it was just Guz. Anyway, that is a very strange game, Dev. I will be completely upfront with that. I did not expect QConfirm to test IG as much as they did.
Yeah, look, we definitely hyped up IG going into it. I think it's important to remember that QC is a really, really strong team and had a really, really strong start to Stage 2, so we shouldn't be too surprised to see them show up. The key, or the missing ingredient for QConfirm hasn't been their skill ceiling, it has been their consistency, so that just makes them a bit hard to predict. And look, they had some really strong attack rounds, really broke through those IG defenses, but at the end of the day, IG really, really tight. We saw that manifest in a couple of flawless rounds, and another just routine monster performance for Speakeasy as well.
Raven, what was your take on IG there? I mean, they're looking the goods, there's no doubt about it, but certainly, again, closer than what we expected.
Yeah, it was a bit closer, but they still held their own, and I think really importantly, you know, even after the pressure that they were facing in that first half of it going 3-3, they were still able to bring out some really good attacks to take the match. I'm sure they're still, you know, recovering from Mexico Major. I know they had to go through rigorous quarantines when they got back in Singapore, so they're probably fresh out of that, quite honestly. So I think that might take some time to settle in, but certainly it's a good start. And like Dev said, QConfirm, they started really strong in Stage 2. Generally, they seem to start strong in stages and teeter off.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really solid win for IG to take 3 points.
Their storyline, Dev, IG, speaking of, it just seems to be kind of a Cinderella story almost from the start of Stage 1 of 2021 to where we are now. You know, it's been such high and low for them, but it's certainly starting to look a lot more on that upward trajectory.
Yeah, and look, let's be honest, like this is arguably the #1 team from APAC North last year back in the old format, and coming into this year, 6th place in Stage 1 was far below the expectation, the bar they had set for themselves and that we had set for them as well. Managed 4th in Stage 2. Stage 3 is, I think, the point where they're saying to themselves, no more excuses, we had our little rut, and that's it. Like, we know we're in a really competitive league here, but we accept nothing but #1. And I think that that's the goal that Invictus is going to be striving to, and I think that they're taking steps towards reaching it.
In a league like APAC South, Raven, do you think that it's going to be possible from day one to see something, a team like Invictus kind of carry us through the season, through the stage, sorry. It's just been, you know, from Stage 1 to Stage 2, so hard to predict, so hard to call. In Stage 3, we're already seeing how tight it is. Do Invictus look like that, you know, top tier team? Do they look like they can contest?
I think they do, but as we've seen all throughout the year, APAC South, it changes almost week to week sometimes. The real test of most APAC South teams that manage to break through to playoffs or whatever, it seems to be consistency. So we've had 1 week now of Stage 3. It feels like we've got some clear standout teams and some teams that look like they might struggle a little bit, but without getting some extra play days, it can be really hard to judge. In terms of starts though, for Invictus Gaming, like I feel like this is one of their best starts to a stage. Because look, you see they aren't a slouchy opponent.
No, not at all. Now, someone who is a standout bloke is, of course, Luna. Glenn, welcome in to the desk.
Guys.
It's wonderful to see you once again. Look, what a start it is. It's kind of rolled over from your Mexico Major into Stage 3. Do you have high hopes for this stage?
Not to jinx myself, but you know, we always have high hopes for every stage, and we know how Stage 1 and 2 went for us. But yeah, we just take it week by week. You know, we've been doing this all year now, so we're probably used to the tempo and probably a lot more ready mentally. So yeah.
I'm interested in how you've been adjusting to, the game evolving just as your team is. How do you feel taking on new challenges like other teams in the league rising up, the game changing itself, new operators coming in, the bank, of course, coming in? How do you find just dancing through those changes and keeping on top of it all?
Esports is really cutthroat, right? So the way I like to put it is everyone is always improving at a certain rate. So let's say if everyone improves at a rate of X, you need to be improving by X plus 5. You need to be faster than everyone else. And I think the thing that helps is that this team has a really good direction, which I can't say I had through the many renditions of this roster. I think this is probably the one where we are committed to following one direction and we work towards it. Whereas in the previous rosters, you always had like 1 or 2 people who wanted to play a different style or things like that. So yeah, that's what we have really going for us. Really good foundation, so it's just a matter of working and making sure you improve faster than everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of improving faster than other people, something that's unique for you guys as well is that you've actually had some international appearances this year. How does that help you guys kind of progress and kind of stay ahead of your opponents here in APAC South?
Many different ways, but I think something that can get to the point really is just map understanding. Just playing against different teams, like you playing. I can talk about Consulate now since Consulate is out of the picture. Right? Like even playing Consulate against Annie and then playing it against Latam, you face 2 completely different strategies, and then like just understanding that both of them work. It's just a matter of you choosing which one you want to play and which is better for your roster, and like just using that very basic understanding of maps and then refining it to your own playstyle, and it really works wonders for you.
Now, Luna, I don't know, I mean, that's a fantastic response, I'll be honest with you. But I don't know whether you were able to watch the matches earlier with Order and Direwolves, and then, of course, Elevate and Chiefs. But certainly, Order and Chiefs are looking at a bit of a different roster, I'll be completely honest, to what they were in Stage 2. And in the same kind of fashion, in the same breath, Invictus are going upward just consistently. Who do you think are, the best competitors in terms of, who you'll come up to face?
I did watch the games on and off. Obviously, I couldn't sit there and watch the whole game. But I think the number 1 competitor for us is still Knights. But I'm really keeping an eye on Chiefs right now because their first game looks really solid with that roster change. And we've lost to them in the past, so we're not going to underestimate them by any means, but we're going to pay even more close attention to them after today's performance.
Beautiful. All right, mate, thank you very much. I'll give you the floor, of course, as per usual. Any shout outs to the missus or, the family, friends, fans, anything out there?
Shout outs to all the fans, thanks once again. We couldn't do this without you. And to the missus or my family. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but the whole team got out of quarantine yesterday and today. So more or less everyone's like rushing home to get their setups done and play for game day 1. So I actually haven't even like talked to every single one of my family yet. It's just been, getting ready for this. But thankfully we have tomorrow off. So to my teammates and to their friends or family or whatever, let's enjoy tomorrow, I guess, if you're watching this.
Well said, mate. Well, we wish you the best of luck next week, and maybe we'll see you again. Who knows?
Thanks, guys. Thank you. See ya.
There you have it. It sounds like Invictus following the trends of those that have been set before them, and Stage 3 again is just looking ever so competitive, Raven.
Yeah, it is. And look, really interesting to hear that they only got out of quarantine yesterday. I knew it was recent. Like, I felt like I saw some tweets that it happened recently, but yesterday, that's a massive turnaround. They've gone all the way to Mexico, come back, have had to spend time in quarantine, and then with less than a day's rest, they've been playing APAC South. So to pull out a 7-5 against QConfirm feels even more impressive. But yeah, no, look, it feels like it is going to be another good stage for them. Like, Glenn seemed quite confident.
Yep. It's a pretty large feat. There's no doubt about it. Dev, you can add on to that. We'll have a look at the results from tonight as you do.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I just think we are so privileged here in APAC South to feature insane talent. We talk about the teams all the time, and yes, Rainbow's a team game, but just talk about some individual players. We saw absolutely turn it up today. I'm talking Hayward from the Knights game. I won't say anyone specific from the Order game. I think that was pretty well rounded. And then Worthy and God Legion just leagues apart above the competition in the Chiefs game. And of course, none other than Speakeasy Hysterics as well in that Invictus game. My God, we are lucky. Aren't we just so lucky to have some of the best players in the world playing right here in this league? It's just absolutely unbelievable watching them week in, week out.
And that's the thing, we get to see them improve week in and week out. I would say 5 people we don't really get to see improve week in, week out is, of course, the talent that do predict. And let's have a look at those predictions. I think it's actually pretty good this week. I'll be completely honest. There you go, starting out 4-0. Bang, bang,
oh
guys. That's
God.
what I'm talking about. They're shaven head homies. That's what we are. We're out on top as expected there, Raven.
I mean, I wouldn't say as expected, but hey, like, that's good stuff. Good job. I think the general talent goal is always just to be beating Xenox, right? And to see him down at 2-2.
He takes them so seriously. I just
does.
love beating it up. Raven, is this as many
fantastic.
correct answers as you got in the entire stage 2 of Apex South?
I mean, it probably is, like, honestly. I think I'm a third of the way there. I can't remember where I ended up for stage 2, but it was pretty close to 3, so this is a good week.
Yeah, I think look, honestly, I think we're all doing pretty well here. I think that below 50% was the average prediction accuracy in stage 2. So the fact that we've got our worst person at Xenox at 50-50 is pretty good start.
It looks like maybe we are improving after all, guys. I mean, I don't really want to jinx it. Don't want to jinx it too much. But here are the standings at the end. Of course, no overtime win or losses. Well, I mean, just no overtimes in general means that it's a very clear-cut 3-0s across the board in terms of points. But 3 OS teams out on top. That is a pretty gorgeous sight with that OS bias in mind, Raven.
Yeah, like, definitely is for us in that regard. But look, it's been a fairly, I would say, Southeast Asia kind of, I wouldn't say dominant, but it seems like the Southeast Asian teams have kind of really had the OS numbers for majority of the year, with the Knights being the biggest exclusion from that. So it's always good to see Chiefs and Order both getting some really big victories tonight. And again, it's just going to be all about the consistency, right? Like, if we can really see these teams continue to show up as they did tonight in the coming weeks, yeah, like, I think these standings could certainly stick, but you never quite know with APAC South.
Dev, I'll be honest, I found it interesting that Luna was saying that, Knights and Chiefs are the ones that they're looking at after, considering Elevate and their performance, and even QConfirm and how dominant they were at the start of last season.
It's so hard to get on early and start to kind of make expectations of the stage, but just judging by where I think these teams are at the moment, I think your Knights, IG, and Chiefs probably going to be the top teams. I think Elevate is unfortunately in a bit of a decline. They've got Order next week. I think that's going to be a really tough game for them. I'm pretty sure they lost to Order both times so far this year. I know they did in stage 1, and I'm pretty sure it was in stage 2 as well. I think that's going to be really tough for them. I think Elevate's going through a really rough period. QConfirm still, they've got a lot of teeth, but they don't have consistency. Chiefs are on the rise. Knights are really good. IG are really good, just looking to nail out some. We're going to see Knights, IG, and Chiefs be the top 3 in stage 3. I know it's early to make that claim, but time will tell. I will say Knights and IG are actually going head-to-head as our final game of next Thursday. I could not be more stoked for that. I mean, you heard Glenn say it himself. That's the team that they think is going to be the team to beat in stage 3. So that game is going to be an absolute cracker.
Raven, any outlandish claims before we close the show?
Look, nothing outlandish, but as always, it was a really exciting night of APAC South Siege. We've seen some shifts in the balance in terms of form, some pretty big surprising results. I mean, for me, honestly, the biggest surprise was probably Chiefs 7-1ing Elevate. Like, we always felt like that was going to be an entertaining game, and yeah, a lot of us predicted Chiefs, but to 7, 7-3, was it? Oh my gosh, I don't know why I said 7-1.
It felt like a 7-1, but don't worry.
It did, it actually did. But that's like the actual dominant performance from Chiefs over Elevate. Yeah, very surprising, and I think there's some good things in the horizons for some of these teams, but I'm curious to see what the consistency is like this stage.
Well, that's always going to be the thing that haunts us in APAC South, but that is going to do it for the show for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us at home. We hope that you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you, but until next Thursday, take care, stay safe.